And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today we're taking a look at a game called Ponder. Ponder, be the fastest toad in the family. You know, I'm not really sure why it's called Ponder. Oh, you're supposed to ponder? Oh, it's in a pond. Okay. Is that funny? Oh, well, okay, well, you think it's funny. Oh. All right. Well, anyhow, Ponder is about racing frogs across the table. It's like, kind of like an abstract strategy game with a thing where you can actually roll your frogs. Let's take a look. At the beginning of the game, each player is going to have 3 frogs of their color. These are little kind of rubberized frogs, and they'll place them on their side of the board. They also get a deck of cards, and then the lily pads are placed in this exact pattern on the board. Now, one player goes first, and then you just go around clockwise. The first thing you'll do on your turn is you can move a lily pad that's next to one of your frogs. So here, since I have 3 frogs on the edge, I can pick any of these 3 lily pads. But I can take any lily pad I want, and I can basically throw that lily pad to any empty space on the board. After that, I then will move one of my toads. Now, the way you move a toad is based on the cards that you have. For example, this card, you're going to have, at the beginning of each round, you'll have a card turned up face up. That's the card that you will use. This card here, for example, lets your toad move 1 space in any direction. So if they're on a lily pad, they can move 1 space. This one lets me move as far as I can in an orthogonal manner, so this frog could go all the way up here. Or if I had managed to get the lily pads in the right spot, you might be able to go even farther than that. And then there are cards that let you go diagonally as far as you possibly can, or in any direction as far as you possibly can. There's also a card that if you happen to draw it, the one with the fork and knife here, your frog is eating, so you essentially don't get to go the turn that you draw that card. Now, as you're moving your frogs across the board, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get them to the other side. Each side, if you notice, the side here has a flag of your color, so you're trying to cross that line. But also, as you move these frogs around the board, you might land on top of another frog. Something you'd like to do. Now, if the card that you play shows this white bursting symbol, then the defending frog that you land on is taken out. There's nothing they can do about it, and they have to go all the way back to their starting beach. However, most cards don't have that, so when you land on someone else's frog, the defending player is then going to roll their frog. Now, if their frog is laying down on its back or on its side, then the attacker frog gets to move the defending frog 1 lily pad in any direction from where they landed on it. If the defending frog lands on its feet, then when that happens, you've stood your ground and the attacking frog goes 1 space in any direction on the lily pad. If the defending frog lands on its face, the attacker lands on a space and the defending frog is moved back to their start line. So that is the worst possibility to land on your face. But you can land here. And I haven't done any kind of numerical rolling of these frogs. When we played, it seemed like it was a pretty even keel. Sometimes they landed on their feet, sometimes they landed on their back, and sometimes they landed on their stomach. So the game is just going to continue to go until one person gets all their frogs across. If for some reason it's the beginning of your turn and there's nothing else you can do and you're on a lily pad, then you can move your lily pad 1 space. If all your other frogs are already across or there's no other options for you. Otherwise, you will then draw a card at the end of your turn. That'll be the card you use next turn, and you will keep going. If you go through all your cards, you shuffle them and go through them again, and you keep going until someone's frogs get across the pond. All right, what you guys think of this game? Anyone have any thoughts? Melody.
My favorite part of this game was rolling the frogs. I liked how you rolled it, and if it landed one way, you had to take your guy all the way back to the beginning, and sideways you had to move back space. But it was just so much fun to play. But I didn't really like the random part. for
You mean?
help.
Well, you just said. Wait a minute. You just said. Oh, you mean the cards?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. But you like the rolling the frogs.
Yeah.
So maybe we should just make a game called Roll Them Frogs. What do you think?
I like the game. Well, I thought everything went the opposite. Because when I was winning, I actually lost the game, and when Holly was losing, she won the game.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, that's a good thing, I think, in games. That means even if you're losing, you can still win.
Yep. And I like how I rolled the dice.
The frogs.
Fun.
Okay, so okay, I'm getting everyone likes rolling the frogs. What do you think?
I think it's good because I like moving the frogs on lily pads and moving the lily pads.
Yeah, that is a neat
Pretty
way.
cool.
And the moving the lily pads to move the frogs as far as you possibly can. Sometimes you can go all the way across the whole table, right? Did you like it? Did you feel like it was a pain in the neck when someone landed on your frogs?
Yes. And then you sometimes
So-
have to go all the way back to the beginning.
That's great, right?
Nope.
No.
Well, okay, so it's an interesting game. So, final thoughts. Is it a good game or not a good game? Should people buy it?
Yes.
Yes. Good game.
Everyone says good game. So, out of 10, what would you give it?
Nate.
An 8?
9.
Of course.
7.
What you got? You got 10, 9, and 2, right? All right. Well, anyway, I would give it a more mediocre basis. I think it's a good game, but that card drawing, like Melody said, I think kind of takes it off a little bit. I almost wish that you had the cards in your hand and you could pick one to play, and but then that might be too strategic and too deep. As it is, it's silly fun, and we all like rolling the frogs.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find the latest board game news at Dicetowernews.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Fun Again Games, the world's best game source. Fun Again Games has over 5,000 games available. Check them out at funagain.com.